Hello, good to have you on the program again. It is the economy today, where we bring you news, previews, reviews, and interviews on all that has to do with the economy. And so this day will not be any different. It will still be these that we have as the basis of what we're doing today. And so I encourage you to make an apt investment of your time with us. I know at the end of the day, you will not regret that. I am Okechukwu Onubogu. Thank you so much for staying with us. Right away, we will get into the things that have to do with the stock exchange, and afterwards we get to have our news beats. And then immediately after the news beat, I will introduce my guest, who is here already seated with me on the program. Let's get straight to the stock exchange and find out how it's going right now. To what we have, first of all, finding out the people who are even in the stock exchange in the first place, who were there yesterday up to this point in time, because it's later today that we get to know about that of today. And so the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we have all shares index, and we had 96,510.13, and there is an improvement. 0.49% is what we have as an improvement on that, on the index. Then the value traded yesterday, coming up to before we now get to have that of the new day, happens to be have a value of 5.64 billion naira. 5.64 billion naira. It's still an improvement. Moving from the values, we talk about the volume. Volume has been 443 million. 443 million is the volume that we have, and the market capital, talking about in naira now, is 55.4 trillion naira. 55.4 trillion naira is the capital that is the capital that was traded as of yesterday. Stock exchange, and among the traders, there were active traders, but we always pick the first three, the most active traders. We had the Veritas Cap, as we had on Monday, 83.07 million. That's what they traded, and Access Corp, that is having 56 million, as well as Univ Insure giving us 29.07 million naira. These are the three top active traders as at yesterday. Okay, we'll look at other things now, thinking about the top gainers, I believe. And Julius Berger has an improvement, 10.00%, and it's on 13 naira. Then Niemas 0.20, and an improvement of 10.00, the same percentage. In actual fact, they all have the same percentage, all the top gainers. John Holt, followed by Total, also the same, though different amounts, but then checking the percentage of what they had brought earlier and what they have gotten now is still the same 10% improvement or 10% increase. That's why it's on the green. Okay, let's look at the top decliners. UPL leading the top decliners. Qtix, Vitafoam, Transcorp, and Lancashire. These are the ones that came down. And you look at what they have there, well, it's all on the negative. That's why you see the red in the first place. And so, okay, let's look into the oil market and find out. And the oil market will also let you know that the WTI crude has been sold at $75.46 per barrel, and it's a kind of a slight decline. It's a slight decline, 0.08% decline. Brent crude the same way, a decline of 0.08 decline, while Melbourne crude improved this time to 78.81 said per dollar per barrel rather, and is 0.17% improvement or increase that they have there. Well, the natural gas story is still the same as it's been for a while, and let me not forget also to mention that our own Bonny Light has remained the same way in the past 5 days, 4 to 5 days now, getting to the 6th day, hoping that it could improve. Bonny Light has been on 78 or so. Okay, that's what how we'll leave it for now on the stock exchange, and from here we will get to pick our news bits. There we've got some important things to mention, and before even the news bits, what we have as our topic today also gets to explain why we have some of these things in the news bits, as we have the 2 other stories apart from the first one that has to do with oil. The other stories have to do with the thing that is the topic for the day on discussion, and we'll let you know that it is food security, the Nigerian situation. And so we'll find out. We'll look at the news bit. Of course, let me go to Divine Okechukwu for us to hear what we have in that news bit that we have for today. Let's take
President Tinubu to inaugurate $115 million terminal upgrade project at Onne Airport. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will on September 4th inaugurate the upgraded West African Container Terminal in Onne Airport, Rivers State. The $115 million project began about 3 years ago. WACT, operated by APM Terminals in Onne, Rivers State, is the nation's largest and most efficient container terminal outside Lagos. Its managing director, J.C. Jose, said the completion of the upgrade marks a significant milestone in the history of Nigerian ports. According to him, we are pleased to announce the successful completion of the upgrade of our terminal at Onne Airport. This will be a game changer for Nigeria, and we are thoroughly excited about it. The first investment of $115 million is a testament to the trust and confidence that APM Terminals has in the Nigerian economy and contributes to our purpose of improving lives for all while lifting global trade. WACT is a Nigerian first greenfield container terminal to develop under a public-private partnership model strategically situated with oil and gas-free zone on Air River State. The terminal has evolved into the premier gateway for accessing markets beyond the Lagos region and the vital conduit to Eastern Nigeria's burgeoning economy. On August 15, 2020, the WACT made history when it received the largest container vessel ever to berth at any Nigerian port. The vessel, Nesek Stadhorn, measures 300 meters in length overall and 48.2 meters in beam, with a capacity to carry approximately 10,020 feet, equivalent units of containers. Nigeria loses 50 million naira daily to pineapple importation. An agriculturist, Ambassador Olusegun Alabi, has disclosed that the country loses 50 million naira daily to the importation of pineapple, despite producing about 1,067,200 metric tons per annum, placing the country as the 8th largest producer of the crop in the world. While addressing a news conference at the National Assembly recently, Alabi said that despite its comparative advantage, the country was importing pineapple from Ghana and Togo, ranked 13th and 16th producers of pineapple in the world by the Food and Agriculture Organization. He further said Nigeria is only able to meet 50% of her pineapple needs annually, added that despite high demand of pineapple from Asian countries, Nigeria has not been able to produce enough to meet the demand. He also added that the pineapple being cultivated in Nigeria does not meet the required standard for industrial use because the farmers fail to comply with good agricultural practices, resulting in subpar fruit quality, which makes them unsuitable for export and industrial use. Insecurity, a threat to agricultural policy. The Special Advisor to the Niger State Governor on Public-Private Partnership, Jonathan Vasta, has said the insecurity in the state would affect the agricultural program and food security agenda of the President Bola Tinubu. He claimed the killing of farmers was an indication of an ethnic cleansing. According to Vasta, the growing insecurity, which targets mostly farmers, would keep the farmers from farming and increase food insecurity. He further said, if the land and the farmers are not secured, how do we address the current high cost of foodstuff in the market? There must be strong commitment and political will to tackle this challenge and rescue the people from the hands of these enemies of the country. Basta, a former commissioner for information, culture and tourism in the state, stated this in a statement while reacting to the recent killing of 13 farmers. He observed that the attacks reflect that this is more than banditry, but rather a means to cripple the economy based off the people in the security-affected areas. He described it as a ploy to chase the people out of their land, which is rich in agricultural and mineral resources. The time to take necessary action to end these heartless killings of innocent farmers is now, he further said. From all indications, it is clear that there is economic war going on where these killings are concentrated. He called on the federal government to immediately rise up to the occasion and rescue these people.
Thank you so much, Divine Okechukwu and Victor Day for that beautiful package. And that's what we have today on our news beats. And just as I mentioned earlier, we have a topic for today, and the topic is food security, the Nigerian story or situation, as the case may be. And I want to talk about this for a while, but then I'll need to introduce my guest on the program. And I'm talking about Richard Oriri. Richard is a broadcaster and, of course, a public affairs analyst. Rich, good to have you here today.
It's my pleasure, sir.
It's always a blessing to have you on the program,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I want to also say certain things before I now get into start talking. Food security in the first place is, it refers to the availability, accessibility, and affordability of nutritious food for all individuals. That is talking about food security. Availability, accessibility, and affordability of nutritious food for all individuals. That is food security. And food security is a significant concern in Nigeria, where many people struggle to access sufficient and nutritious food. And it's always been the way it should have been all the while, in part of the fact that there are certain things that you could call refer to as bottlenecks today. And some of the key aspects of these include the challenges that we'll have, which we will discuss, and all that has to do with it. According to the World Food Program, WFP, 9.5% of Nigerians, that's around 19 million people in Nigeria, are food insecure. That is, they do not have food security in this country, in Nigeria. And the WFP, that is this World Food Program, also reports that 1.8% of Nigerians, that's around 3.5 million people, are severely food insecure. And Nigeria is ranked 103 out of 113 countries in the 2020 Global Food Security Index. And this is a kind of a foundation for us to look at what we're saying. That in 2020 Global Food Security Index, Nigeria ranked 103 out of 113. That is the countries in the world that have been checked and ranked this way. So Nigeria has gone so low, talking about 103 over 113. I wonder the number will just 10. Well, there are certain things that we'll talk about, because there are some initiatives that the government has carried out, which we would also discuss part of them, and some non-governmental organizations too may have made efforts. Like the Nigerian government has launched several initiatives to address food security, including the National Food Security Council, the Agricultural Promotion Policy, APP, the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, the Anchor Borrowers Program, ABP, and all that. All of these I've mentioned, and some others we're going to talk about, because they are part of the thing that the government declared concerning the war against food insecurity in the nation. And we want to find out how they are going and how much of it has worked. Then non-governmental efforts too. The various NGOs and organizations are working to improve food security in Nigeria, such as the WFP we have talked about, and the FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization. The International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, the Nigerian Red Cross Society, and so on and so forth are also involved to help and see that we'll get to have food on the table the way we ought to on a constant note. And some individuals also have been involved in doing some of these things. They've tried in this country to do some supporting local farmers and agriculture, some individuals, reducing food waste, promoting sustainable agricultural practices, advocating for food security policies and initiatives. Some of these we see and we hear that they do in this country, and then we'll talk about them. Let me also say that the Millennium Development Goal, that is the MDGs, Millennium Development Goals that we had related to food and agriculture, security was, because it's no longer there, MDG is no longer there, it's SDG. And when we had MDG, it was MDG 1, to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Specifically, the target is to halve, that is turn to half between 1990 and 2015, the proportion of people whose income is less than $1 per day, achieve full productive and employment and decent work for all, including women and young people in Nigeria. To have again, between 1990 and 2015, the proportion of people who suffer from hunger. But all these things we'll find out whether it's happened or it's yet to happen. Just as I said, that is for MDG. But right now we have the SDGs, from the Millennium Development Goals, that is the MDG, the country moved along with the world for the SDG, that is Sustainable Development Goals. And it also became number 2 in the program of SDG, that is, and what it is zero hunger. Zero hunger. To end hunger, achieve food security, and improved nutrition, as well as promote sustainable agriculture. That is the major thing that SDG 2 is doing right now. And there are other matters that have to do with this, which I want to say from this one I've mentioned. Richard, do you think that this SDG 2 thing has been achieved or is achievable, or have you seen anything to show that we're working towards having food security in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. Just like you rightly said, from the definition of food security, the availability, affordability of nutritious food for the population of a particular society. So now, if you are to have insecurity in the food sector, in the first instance, what you look at first as insecurity are those challenges confronting you from having this food available. In Nigeria today, we have the largest population in Africa, meaning ordinarily we should not have challenges in terms of food production. And if you are to talk about land availability, we have land enough. And if we are to talk about the space, the ungoverned space where you can at least utilize within your environment to produce this food, we have it in large quantity,
in abundance,
around the rural community.
Yes.
And the population of Nigerians that reside within the rural community, I can put it plus or minus over 65 or over 65% of the total population of Nigeria reside within the rural areas. Now you talk about MDG and SDG. MDG, Millennium Development Goal, was designed to achieving all of this, and in their move to achieving this, it was not sustainable.
Yes.
And that is why they move from Millennium Development Goals to Sustainable Development Goal to be. And in sustaining this, what are the challenges and what are they doing to have this food availability sustained? Those are the questions. And now like food production, I will go by the issue of insecurity around the food production in Nigeria. Insecurity, if we are to take insecurity from the angle or the perspective of those bottlenecks, those challenges that confront you from or deny you the access or the possibility of making food available for yourself or for the larger population, I can put it on the side of government. I will always say that it's a political will on the side of government, and on the side of the citizen itself. On the side of the citizen itself, I can take it to be possibly unwillingness to participate in agriculture. In those days when we were growing up, I could remember vividly I can even picture my mother growing vegetable around the compound.
Around the house, yes.
The compound.
You always
so the environment within us, how to manipulate the environment to our advantage is the most important thing. And if we are going to the government aspect of it, like if we are to sustain it, before now, what we know in the area of agriculture, there are two things: subsistence farming and commercial farming. Commercial farming, they are the mechanized type of farming.
Yes, industrial.
But Nigeria, basically, we rely mostly on subsistence farming,
yes,
which we do basically to feed ourselves and our small family. But moving from that subsistence level of farming to the mechanized level of farming is the area where we will bring in government for assistance.
Yes.
And you look at Nigeria critically today, you will see that we are having serious challenge in the area of economic inequality. And the larger population of Nigeria that are residing in the rural area, they are finding it difficult to, like 2 days ago, my cousin, he called me that they need a chemical, at least to go to the farm, and because they don't have money to even buy this chemical to wield. They don't have money to even buy some seedlings itself, to even plant. So it's those are the areas where government can come in.
Yes.
Then another part of it is where we as a people can challenge ourselves. Like last 2 months, I challenged my wife, look at the environment, our environment where we stay. You can utilize it to our advantage. Every time when you want to make use of something, you go to the market to buy even chicken.
Yeah.
You can look at this area. You can rear small chicken that we can.
Yes,
you
have a small poultry farm at home.
So and she started it. Now we don't go to the market to buy chicken.
Okay.
If we want to eat, she go to her small farm in the village, in the compound,
yes,
and pick anyone she wants and kill. But that as well requires funding.
Yes.
Because the feeding alone.
One
bag of feed for chicken is around 25,000.
Something thousand, 28. Yes.
You understand? So how many of it will you buy to bring this chicken to a level where you can eat?
Exactly.
So it's a problem. So government have to come in. Basically, I commend. I can always speak in favor of the Niger State Governor.
Okay.
Niger State Governor, among all the 36 state governors today, Niger State Governor has taken it upon himself to field his people. If you check the Constitution of the Federation, Section 14, subsection 2, talk about security and the welfare of the citizen.
Yes.
And if you cannot field your population as a nation, then it's a problem.
Yes.
If you can't field your citizen as a nation, it's a problem. Now we have all the institutions that can provide for all of this. You made mention of agri ministry. You made mention of water resources. If it is a dry season period, the water resources ministry can go in providing irrigation, providing water, making water available. But even during rainy season now, we don't even have the water available for even human consumption in the country. Majority in the city here in Abuja, you can say that most households, they rely basically on borehole.
Yes.
Even the government cannot even provide enough water for the citizens to use. talk more of having it enough for irrigation,
farming
for
and
farm.
all that.
See, we are having the problem
Yes.
in all angles. And if government can help the population to producing food for our consumption here in Nigeria, it will help a lot.
Maybe that's why the government, the current administration, had to declare a state of emergency on food security due to the critical food security situation in the country. And of course, with 17 million people estimated to be critically food insecure. That was what the statistics showed in 2022. And I want to assure you that it is even less now. That is the percentage has grown now. It's not just what it is any longer. And the declaration was made to tackle food inflation, to ensure food availability and affordability, just as we mentioned, and address the impact of rising food prices on the population. The impact of rising food prices. You see, some people have seen food prices come down a little right now, and they think it's the normal thing. It's not normal, because this is because of the fact that there is what you could refer to as a huge harvest, not bumper harvest, but a huge harvest, not up to the bumper. Then they have it, and because there is no storage facility, the farmers are forced to sell off all these things before the thing, or lest the thing gets destroyed in their hands. That's why we have these things in the market now look as though a basket of tomatoes that used to go for as high as the small basket, the waste paper basket that used to go as high as 18,000 to 20,000 is now going to coming down to 4,005. It's not because they want to sell it that way, but because if they don't, the thing will be wasted. And so they wouldn't want to waste it. They want to go on to do something about it. So as we're discussing food security in Nigeria, one of the major things also that should help us to have security of food in Nigeria is to have storage facilities, as I discussed with some of my guests the last time we were here. I want us to look at certain things right away. And the government, they have 12 key action points that that they want to the intervention plan of government concerning this emergency on food security. And one is immediate release of fertilizers and grains to farmers and households. You see, you have been talking about farmers, grains, and all that. How immediate is this release to farmers? You know, sometimes you see, especially talking about fertilizers, by the time they will get it, it would have gone beyond the season of adding fertilizer to the products. But some will still struggle to do it. And at the end of the day, it may not give them the positive result that they want. So the government should also wake up and get to follow these things the way they ought to be followed, not delaying even by one day, because these require some precision. Then we have also synergy between the Ministry of Agriculture and Water Resources that you've also mentioned for irrigation and all year round farming. You see, all year round farming is still a problem in this country. And as we all know, Nigeria is so richly blessed with land that is good, arable land, and what we can plant well here, and that can help us, that we can do all year round farming. But we don't have it here. What are the reasons for which we can't have them? We also have the next one, that is creation of a national commodity board for price assessment and maintenance of strategic food reserves. Price assessment and maintenance of strategic food reserves. Then the next one is increased security measures for farms and farmers. Now, I've mentioned 5 of them now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I've mentioned 4. And let me add this one: enhanced funding for the agricultural value chain. All these, how far can we say it has gone?
Thank you very much. I will take it from the security angle.
Yes, sir.
The sudden rise in food inflation in Nigeria started when we started having security challenges across Nigeria, especially the northern part of
the country, yes, where
middle belt, where we have a large population of farmers who produce to feed the nation. Like Benue State is known to be the food
basket of the nation. Yes,
but it declines because of insecurity. Every citizen of this country saw what happened in Benue, and before, if you have 1,000 naira, you can get up to 15, 16 yams.
Yes, tubers of yam.
But recently, if you have even 5,000, to have one is difficult.
A difficult thing.
It's difficult because the number of yams, if you go to the market where you get it in large quantity before, if you go there now, you have it small. The smaller it is in the market, the higher the interest to get it. And that is why the price will go up. The higher the demand for any goods will definitely take the price up. And the higher the number of goods available in the market, the lower the price of that goods. Just like you said about tomato. Tomato, because of the season. The period now is a period where you have tomato in large quantity. And it's a perishable goods as well. And if you don't sell it off, it will get spoiled, as you said. So now, government, in the first instance, have to provide security for these farmers. Majority of us in the city here, we have our mothers, our relatives who are in the village doing this farm work. Some of us, we hardly use our money to buy food in the city because we have farms in the village that our brothers, our sisters, they are looking after them for us, and we send money to them. But the security is not there for them to even move from the town to the farmland
to cultivate and harvest.
Or you will be killed in the farm. And to protect life, they are putting themselves away from farming. Not that they are weak or they are lazy not to go to the farm again.
Yes, so what you're saying is that the land is still there.
The land is there.
And then the labor, the manpower is still there.
We have good number of persons who are farmers in Nigeria with energy.
But the problem is that there is no security for them to get in there and farm. Because there could be kidnapping. There could be destruction of life.
Anything can happen to you. In most communities in Nigeria, before when we were growing up, I will always talk about before when we were growing up. No village, no political ward in Nigeria that doesn't have police station.
Yeah, of course, yes.
At least, even if the number is not much, at least you have up to 7-8 police officers in every community, and with police station where they guide, they protect the life of the people within that community. But today, the only place you will see police station is the local government headquarters, where normally should be the division. And that division, you cannot even have a good number of police officers that can police the entire local government.
Even when you see vehicles there, you find rickety vehicles there.
So the ungoverned places in this country, they are too big, too numerous that Nigerian citizens are afraid to even move a mile to the next point. From one point to the next point is a problem to even move. So government have to provide adequate security for Nigerian citizens. And secondly, when we are talking about security, the security of financial security is there too. Economic security. If you don't have money, there is nothing you can do much. I remember early this year, before the process for farming started, most of our younger ones in the village who engage in farming, they called me for assistance, cutlasses and hoes. These local hoes, since they don't have mechanized
farming product
implements, they will rely on hoes and cutlasses that they need it. So I made provision for the ones I could do. But some other persons don't even have the money to afford these cutlasses to even wade and do the heat. So it's a very big problem, and government can come in such a things have to pass through the local government, and that is why we are so applauding the idea of the federal government
to have
giving autonomy
to local government, financial autonomy to local government.
Good number of persons, those who have the passion for this country,
can come in
and lead from the grassroots.
Exactly.
I was so happy. I saw yesterday where one professor in Taraba or Bachi, one of the northern states, threw his hat inside the rings that he wants to be chairman of his local government.
You see? And
the community say, yeah, the local government, they say, yes, we need you. You have imparted so many lives from the university angle. Now, if you want to come and serve us as local government, we need you. And APC have given him ticket.
You see?
Professor. So, time is coming that people who know the value of some of these things we are talking about can go in and govern, can go in and become leaders. So government have to come into assisting the citizens in making sure that there's food production in Nigeria.
We also have activation of 500,000 hectares of land for farming and river basins for continuous farming. You see, when I hear river basins, I remember when I was a young boy. That was when I used to see river basins. I don't know whether there is any river basin still around in Nigeria.
We have one in Makodi, Lower River Basin Authority.
Okay, that's good. I pray that the ones...
This is geopolitical zones you have.
You have, yes.
Yes, this is geopolitical zones you have.
In actual fact, even some local governments that will be buoyant enough can create their own river basins if they have water around them.
Like in the north, we don't have problem of land.
Yes.
Like this number of hectares of land that federal government is intending to make available for farmers. In the far north, you will have the such land in abundance, even down to Benue. But when you go to a place like in the southeast, you don't have it much. You don't have much of that. Yes. You don't have much. But they can rely. They are relying on the northern people, citizens, to providing food for them. That would not be a problem. Yes. Once the food is available and you have resources to get them, it will be very easy. But the problem is that even the ones that are available, do you have the money to buy the food to eat? It's a big problem, big challenge in Nigeria.
Okay, then also look at deployment of concessionary capital and funding. That's now you're talking about this money, reminds me of it. That's the next one. Deployment of concessionary capital and funding to the agricultural sector. Just as you have said, governments should do this. This is what they have said they want to do. This current administration said they want to do.
Policy pronouncement is not new to Nigerians.
It's not new.
It's not new to Nigeria. We have beautiful policies. The problem we are having is the implementation. And the people that are to implement these policies are our challenge.
Yes.
They don't have the willpower, the political will to doing these things the way government wants it done. That is the problem. And now they have designed this beautiful policy. During implementation, you will see that this place, there is money. Yes. Government is going to put money here. Then the next thing to do is to bring your close associate to go and manage such areas, just to enable them take the money and abandon the normal thing to do.
Yes,
this is a problem. And the problem, another bigger problem again, is that the follow-up of this implementation is not there. Nobody is even giving report back, because they want to give report back to government for them to put necessary measures in place and to tackle the challenges they are facing in the field. Yes. They cannot even take the report back to government, because they are the one creating the same report that they are to take to government.
And so they will give what is soothing to them.
What is soothing, and at the end we will not have result. Yeah. And you see the red people that should benefit from that policy now complaining, and government will be wondering, this is what we have done. So you are still complaining because the people implementing these policies, they are not doing the right thing.
Yes,
it's a problem, and nobody would have been punished for doing the wrong thing.
There is no penalization. Nobody is penalized for whatever they have done. It's just swept under the carpet, and they'll continue with fresh and new policies. That's the thing that has been the bane of this society. Well, let's look furthermore. It says improvement of transportation and storage facilities for agricultural products. Improvement of transportation and storage facilities for agricultural products. Transportation and storage facilities. You see, we have had these things But what we are waiting for is to say, look at it. Look, these 5 storage facilities have been provided in these 5 communities. Let's talk about it.
It baffles me to hear government this period talking about improving transportation. If you are to improve transport, what are the basic ingredients of development? Meaning we are underdeveloped.
Exactly.
We are not developed. Development indices. You talk about basic infrastructure.
Yes.
Which is
having
road,
good
road. You have water. You have power. You have power.
Then having what do you call it? Accommodation. Somewhere. Housing. Somewhere to lay your head at the end.
No. The 774 local government in Nigeria recognized by the constitution. If you go around this 774 local government, one, no road, no access road in this local government. I will talk from my own.
Yes. The only way you can see it is when the ones that are
each time I travel to my local government, when I get back to Abuja, I will take my vehicle to mechanic and leave it there for like 3-4 days.
For them to work on
total overhauling. And it's a problem. Now, the responsibility of local government is to create rural roads.
Yes.
And these rural roads, since they will not have the capacity to do normal roads, they do open rural roads for easy accessibility to market.
Yeah.
Rural road construction and market, local market construction establishment. But today in Nigeria, all of this has died down.
I remember some time ago, as a kid, there were some roads that were done by local government, and what they use in doing these roads are palm kernels. You know, the shell of palm kernels. They will use it and mix it with coal tar and use it to tar the road. It used to serve. I mean, it used to serve
very well.
I don't know what has happened. We can't even. I know that people who are producing these palm kernels, they still have the shells.
They can still make use of it.
I wonder.
They can still make use of it.
What the local government used to do.
They can still make use of it. It's a good initiative.
But this, I don't know whether they can still do such things today.
In the olden days, when we were growing up, I will always refer to when I was growing up.
Yes.
That is to say, Nigeria of today, we have gone back 200 years. Instead of going forward, we are going backward. What we have as development in the olden days, they have all vanished. We can't even see them again. We can't see them. In those days, my local government, they have tractors.
Yes.
Bulldozers.
Yes.
4, 5, 6.
That they use.
Yes, at the headquarters, the local government headquarters.
To make sure that the roads are at least graded.
Graded to a point that you will have easy for movement. But today,
we don't have
today, like 2 days ago, I made call home. The community youth, they came together, put themselves together to clear the grass of the road, clear the road, weed the road, so that community will have access to farm. Outside that, you don't have any assistance from government, from anywhere.
We also have increase of revenue from food and agricultural exports. Let me just read the rest, so we'll talk about them because we don't have much.
Export? Is it not when you have enough to feed yourself that you can export?
That's it.
We don't have enough to feed now. We can't talk of export.
Then we also have improved facilitation of trade by working with Nigerian customs, as well as massive boost in employment and job creation in the agricultural sector. A commitment to ensuring every Nigerian has access to affordable food. Now, these things, even as we've mentioned them, you just started with the first one again. That's of the ones I mentioned, the export. You know, in our news bit, we talked about pineapple. Nigeria being the 8th highest producer of pineapple in the world. But they now say, even when they are trying to export some of our products, because of the insincerity in the midst of Nigerians, they want to cut corners and afterwards export their products, which is not of the internationally approved standard. So because of it, those things will be wasted because they'll be returned and they will not be good anymore. You see, the problem we have is that even as this is happening, even as these things are being created, let people who make up their minds to do the right thing be the ones who will find there. Though, yes, we have had last week on this program, we also saw it on our news beats, that the government has decided to partner with these manufacturers, these farmers, business fellows, that they will now work with them to ensure that the products that are exported are of perfect standard, approved, acceptable standard, so that the money that should come in from there would come in. But then, till we see it happen, because this, as we say, is what
it's just a pronouncement.
Yes, let's see the action.
A friend called me from Cameroon and said in Cameroon they rely on Nigerian yams.
You see?
But today, they don't have it in Cameroon. It's not, they don't,
security.
They don't have it like they used to have it in Cameroon now. So price of yam in Cameroon, according to my friend, has gone up so high. And Nigeria rely on Cameroon for like things like onions, these other fruits from Cameroon.
Okay.
Why we should have it in abundance here?
God has so blessed
this country that we don't have need for, like in my state, we don't even have need for fertilizer. In my state, we don't have need for fertilizer because all our farm is very fertile, very fertile.
In actual fact, some of them, even fertilizer could even cause them harm.
You understand? The money will be too much.
Too much for them to now make use of for the farms. You see, these are the things. Then they said working with the Nigerian customs, the massive boost in employment and job creation in the agricultural sector. How can you employ people in the agricultural sector? When you employ them, what would you do with them? Is it not to send them to farms and things like that? The only employment that can work right now in the agricultural sector is security. If you get people equipped and employ them to go and guard the farmers while they are doing their work, that's about the only one that will work. Because if not, it's so useless that people will suffer and do a lot of tilling, afterwards do planting while the thing is growing up. Apart from the fact that they are talking about, like I know somebody that told me in Nasarawa State that she saw a woman went to the farm with her husband and a little child, and they were in the farm. People that were called cattle rearers, they said there were 4 of them, 4 young men. They came in and they saw them coming, and they were busy doing their own thing, thinking they would just pass. But they started coming towards them. So the man got up, the woman got up, and they were looking at them. You know, at a stage, the man told the wife, carry this child, move to the other side, so that let me see what is happening. As they were moving, she just turned. As she turned, she saw that one already got to the husband, and all he did was to use this scimitar they have in their back, and just once, the man's head was taken off his body. And the woman saw this. She broke down. But she still had to keep running for dear life. She ran until she ran away from that place. They even started running after her to kill her too. Now, how would you ask such a woman to go to the farm again? So that's what I'm saying. If you're employing people, let's employ people that will be there, like trained people.
The employment, then they know that they are already employed. Like they just concluded the primary election conducted by APC in Benue State.
Yes.
Almost 90% of the 276 aspirants for ward councillorship, 90% of them, if you see where they fill their form, as in your occupation, they are all farmers.
Farmers.
Occupation, farmer. They know their occupation, but what they need is the security. They need security not just by planting police or planting military officers to guide them. No, they need security in all angle. Financial security, they need it. These farm implements they don't have. It's a challenge for them. When you give them this security, they are okay because they already have office, which is farming.
Yes,
they have that office. I can say 80% of my youth, the youth in my community this year, they have a cassava farm. All of them went into cassava production farm. Even rice. The rice, like when our House of Rep member went to distribute rice into the 3 local government areas, the one of Ado in my local government.
Yes.
Almost all the people that came out to get the rice, they said they want to use it for their rice. Meaning majority of them have this rice in like yesterday, my friend Okechukwu in Ebonyi, he was in his rice farm, over 10 hectares. So even the members of the house, both from state assembly, even civil servant, everyone can go back and farm if we have the security. If there is security, Nigerians will produce what will feed them.
Yes.
Because there is nobody in this country that doesn't have land within your family circle that will be enough for you to do farming.
Like in my state, Anambra, I used to hear about Ada Rice Farm. You know, but I don't know whether it's still in existence now because of all these problems. That is, we had Adani, where the rice was coming from, you know, and part of Enugu, together, working and getting to have farms. We had farms in the Ibariam area, the Anambra East and West local government areas that we had. That's where you find yam, you know, the yam they call Utuocha yam or Anambra yam. We had the Onitsha, that's what it was. The
Abakaliki yam.
Then we
Abakaliki
had
rice.
Yam. We had Abakaliki rice. We had all these things in different. So they're like, apart from the fact that you now have rice that we see in Kebbi State, you know, Kebbi State, we also knew that there was rice you find in Anambra or Enugu or Ebonyi. There was rice you will see in Benue, because I have enjoyed
Benue rice, yes.
Benue rice a whole lot. In fact, it says there was someone bringing Benue rice for me. I was buying from Osako Market.
Benue yam,
you
too.
know, and Benue yam, which is about the sweetest I have ever tasted, you know. Now, we have these things in different places, but these days we don't find them. Even tomatoes we talk about. There are tomatoes we know that they are referred to as tomato jaws because of the way they give you exactly what you need. This food security is what we want to get back again. Let's have these things so that we can return to the old ways of doing things, not just the national anthem, please. Because that's the thing that is painful. Let's think of how to get this thing back. If we say we want to sing the song that we used to sing then, let's then do the good things we used to do then. Let's fight and make sure that these things are placed in order so we can have food security in the land. And it's not just making policies. We are waiting to see the policies implemented. Thank you so much, Richard Oriri, for coming. You are my colleague. You are a public affairs analyst too, like myself.
Always my pleasure.
It's good to have you always on this program.
Thank you, sir.
It gives me joy to have you here, and we thank you for coming again.
Thank you.
Before you go, I want you to say something to the people and to the government. In just a minute.
To government, all I want is they should have that political willpower to doing things. All the 36 state governors, they should see competition among themselves in the food area. The local government, 774 local government area chairmen in Nigeria should compete with each other for food production by going down to the rural communities and fish out farmers and encourage them by giving them incentives to go back to farm. Then the individuals, Nigerian citizens, they should see food production as their priority. That I should do something to feed myself, feed my family, and be committed to it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Richard. And I also remember that there used to be agricultural fairs. Where are the fairs? Not just trade fairs, but agri fairs, where they bring out different products. And people will
showcase what you have from your state.
And people will buy and feel happy. Please, let's return these things. And with these things back, I know that there will be so much improvement in all that has to do with food security in the land. I believe that your economic antenna has been well positioned so that you have maximum profit from your investment of your time with us today. Thank you for being there. Before I take my leave of here, I must say special thanks to Divine Okechukwu, who has done a great work in packaging what we have had. Victor Adeyeye, and let me not forget also Dan Okechukwu, my boy, Daniel. And I also want to mention about Bright Chukwuelue, Victor Chize particularly, and I also want to thank Emmanuel Solomon and Blissful Capacity for being there for us today and all that we have done. I want to say thank you, and thank you to anyone else I didn't remember to mention here today. It's been wonderful sharing on this time. God bless you so much. May the best happen to us always.
Amen.
Bye-bye.